Welcome to the Light in You podcast, a place where inner wisdom meets everyday life with your hosts, Beth and Kathy. We're here to help you reconnect to your presence and light and remember your true self. Hello and welcome everyone to the Light in You podcast. My name is Beth Polari and I am a holistic practitioner, sound healer, and one of my favorite things to bring forth in people's lives and my own is our presence, our everyday presence, and what that means and how beautiful that begins to unfold in life. So I am here with my good friend Kathy, and she is now going to say a bit about herself.
Hi, everybody. I'm Kathy, the hippie mom. So I am an Akashic Records channeler reader. I also do QHHT and BQH, past life regression. And I have a beautiful message that I've channeled today for the audience of the Light in You podcast. And so I'm going to read that, and then Beth and I are going to discuss and talk about it. So okay, here's what the Akashic Records said this morning. Find your quiet space, your place of peace. Do not allow the external to control the internal. When the world seems chaotic and you find your peace disturbed, take back control. You control your peace and what you allow in, what you consume. Pray, meditate, do yoga, walk in nature. Whatever feels right and good for you is good for you. Stop consuming that which does not align with you. Find your presence inside. You control this, no one else. This does not mean bury your head in the sand and not allow human emotions to arise. However, we caution you to not be overpowered with emotions of lower vibration, such as anger, rage, etc. Allow yourself to feel the feelings and let them move through you. Then release and find that quiet space inside to experience peace again. This is your place of power. Yep.
So powerful. And powerful, not like powerful,
Right.
And it's so interesting how we see that dynamic played out in the world of really what it means to be in your power and how it's out of balance. So I work with clients, and it's so beautiful when you and I gather, and we live in different parts of the country, and we haven't talked in quite a while, and we have these same threads that are running through our experience personally, working with others, seeing in the world, and I just got chills. We know when that's happening, that we're tapped into this part of ourselves. And so we're going to talk a little bit about this presence. And for me, I wasn't in this place in my life in my teens and 20s. And I think that was sort of where I went through some things that were putting my awareness on the external so much, right? Just life. And that's how we really live most of our life, is not really from this place of presence within ourselves, but looking outside. And it's so powerful when life happens, either a trauma or a physical challenge, because it brings us to this place. But I think both of us really truly believe that with practice, we are able to be in this place and not necessarily need, saying that things are happening just for that, but that we are able to exist in this place.
Mhm. Mhm. And I think one of the things I notice, usually when I'm channeling for other people in the Akashic Records, I don't remember the message unless it's meant for the collective, right? And then for whatever reason, I remember it. And they will say all the time, people will say, oh, if only I had arrived at this place sooner, or, like I'm older now. If I were younger, I could, you know, be farther along on my journey. And they always say, you are at the exact perfect spot that you're supposed to be at. And there's no wrong choices. Like you didn't make any wrong choices. Everything was for your benefit so that you could learn and move forward and experience and meet people. And, so even though you feel like you might have taken the wrong path, had you taken the other path that was like the straight instead of the long, windy road, you would have missed out on all of those experiences for your own personal growth, right? To bring you to this place right now where you are. So,
Yeah, and we see this in a lot of different places, whether it's philosophy or beautiful, inspiring people who are bringing forth wisdom. And we know that we're in that place of receiving that wisdom because it kind of pulls our attention, right? It kind of sparks us as, ooh, what are we hearing? What is this truth that's coming through?
yeah.
And of course, working as we both do with spirit and guides and Akashic records and all the things, we are tapping into that universal mind, the field, the source, whatever we want to call it.
Hmm.
And it is something that, you hear a lot in Taoism, like the thing that we can't name. Lao Tzu talks about the name that can't be named. So it's really about coming into that place where there's less of the mind, and it's just like flexing a muscle as you do the things like you brought forth in that message, walking or journaling or meditation.
Hmm.
We are training to create new neural pathways in our brain for that place to be within us, right? That place of peace and presence. And
Hmm.
so I look at my life like, when we're teenagers and then well, for me, I went off to college and I was working lots of jobs, and our life can feel a little bit like we're pulled in many directions. And so that's what our awareness does. So it's no problem. It's like if you trained, if you're training someone to work in a way or a puppy to be a certain way, they're going to do those behaviors. So your brain's the same way. You've taught your brain to just be in that way. And so I love how simple it can be by
Hmm.
recognizing that whatever it is that sparks your interest, and maybe it is listening to, I love like Alan Watts, and there's tons of people. I used to listen to Abraham a ton. But it's very relaxing. And then it brings you to that place where maybe, okay, now I'm going to go meditate or I'm going to take a walk. And my brain has come into that place of relaxation, the alpha waves, where
Hmm.
we're
Hmm.
practicing non relational, or we're not, we're just in a place of existence as pure awareness.
Yeah, beautiful, beautiful. And I think when you said that, I thought about Dr. Joe Dispenza and how he has like the walking meditation, right? Where you're walking, and so I think a lot of people maybe get into the mindset, or maybe it's, just the way that we've been trained to think, oh, meditation has to be a certain way, right? We have to sit and we have to be quiet and we have to do this. But really, I get this message all the time, when people say, oh, but I can't, like I don't have time. I can't do this. And it's like, well, then work it into your life the way that it fits into your life. Like meditation can be while you're driving to work. It's like you're not closing your eyes, but you're just driving. You're in a different place. You're allowing that quiet to settle in. And once you allow that quiet to kind of settle inside of you, then you become an open channel for information to drop in, right? And so, not overthinking it, just allowing the information to come in. Um, anyway.
Absolutely. And I think that there's many ways to perceive what's happening. So we could say we're tuning into a part of ourselves. We could say it's always there and we're allowing it. A lot of people say that prayer is asking for help, meditation is receiving. And so there's space for that to flow in. And the word meditation means to become familiar with. So we're becoming familiar with our inner stillness, or
Hmm.
sometimes there's a lack thereof, right? An example came through this morning and I was meditating. It's sort of like if we are always in action, if our brain's always in action, if our bodies are always in action, and it doesn't mean there's not beautiful like happiness and productivity, right? Because there is that flow. But if you were to have an example of a glass of water with sand in it and you're shaking it up, right? If we're always in the looping thoughts, we're always in the go, go, go.
Hmm.
Well, we are going to have a lot of different things that can feel chaotic in our brain. But if we come into presence and stillness, which would sort of be like allowing that glass of water to be put down and just be still, then that sand can settle down. And it's really kind of interesting, this analogy, because
Hmm.
then you can see clearly, right,
Right.
through the
Yeah.
water. So there is this place of when we do stop, it can feel like things are still being shaken up. But if we just hold to maybe an anchor, like the breath in the body, just bring your awareness back to your belly. I teach this a ton, just having that second awareness of one part of your being. So you could just bring an awareness to your belly. You're still, I'm thinking about my belly right now, but I'm also here with you, right? But I have that
Hmm.
second awareness that brings our presence back to us rather than,
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah, that's beautiful. Because I do get a lot of people, they come in and ask, and they're like, I just can't quiet my brain. My brain just going all the time. So I'm not able to meditate. I'm not able to do this. And I think what you said, you just described it beautifully, how it can happen. It's releasing, it's allowing yourself to release that pattern of, oh, my brain is always going, it's always got something, right? Because there's a fear of, well, what if I let go of all that? Like what is that? It's the fear of the unknown. But once you do it, it's beautiful, right? And then you want to go back again and again and
oh my
again.
gosh. Hmm. Yeah, in the beginning of my journey, I was very apprehensive about being still, but I had no choice because I was experiencing vertigo and nausea and all these things. And so I had to keep practice to be still because it was all I could do. Again, we're offering this idea that it doesn't always have to be physical things that go wrong with our life, but it was the greatest blessing because I did practice. And then once I got the hang of it and started to create some new neural pathways, there was incredible amounts of peace and joy and love and right. So I created space for that to be in me rather than all those patterns. And something you said is really great, worth mentioning. That looping thought that we're in, that place is about 26 to 7 minutes for females to release all the different things that are created, the adrenaline, the cortisol, right? So our body produces these stress hormones when we're in that place. And then for males, I'm sorry, I have it backwards. Males, it's like 27, 26 minutes. Females, a little less, 22. And so once we stop that pattern by naming what we're feeling, coming into
Mhm.
the body, bringing the breath, whatever way you get present within you, that is allowing that pattern to stop. And then, yeah, it takes a little time for those to be secreted through the whatever in your brain, and and then you're back on track.
Mhm. Yeah, so let's talk about that for a minute then. We mentioned, you were at that point in your life where you had the vertigo and like you didn't have a choice. I think a lot of people find themselves with something that's just shaking up their life, whether it's health wise, whether it's something in their family, like, right? And it's hard not to be consumed by that situation. Um, but a lot of times those things happen, like you said, to bring to not force you, but to, because we always have choice, we always have free will, but to allow you the opportunity to get quiet, to go inside, to kind of develop this place. Um, so do you have any thoughts on that since you lived it?
Yeah. Yeah. So it's always, it's like it's knocking on our door. Our feelings are information, and we very often don't. I was just teaching a class the other night with some beautiful ladies, and when we say we were to all go on a road trip, right? Me and you are going to go on a road trip, and we're going to get in our car together, and we're going to go somewhere fun, maybe like Arizona to Sedona or something. And we
Yes.
have these great teas, and we've got a playlist, right? We're filled with joy and excitement. I'm not going to look at you and be like, hey, cut out that joy. You, you're happy over there, and let's not do that, right? We're just going to let it flow because it feels good. It feels in alignment, right? It makes me think of there's like, how, isn't it harder to frown or something? There's like something with muscles in your face, and
Oh, right, right, right. It takes more muscles in your face to frown than it does to smile or something like that.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And we're not like pushing some sort of like toxic happiness right now. That's not the point. Authenticity is beautiful, and that's really where our power, and we say power because you're allowing your body to be as organically, you're allowing life to flow through you by being authentic, by just allowing yourself to feel what you're feeling.
Mhm.
But with anger, right, it doesn't feel as good. So, say we're driving and like one of us is in a bad mood. Well, it could feel like parts of us would maybe say to ourselves, don't feel this way. You're going to rain on Beth's parade. Or you could say, geez, I'm crow. I'm in this car with my good friend Kathy, but she's really mad and this doesn't feel good. And, so it doesn't feel good to be. And so one of the things that we were touching upon is how do you allow yourself to be organic in flowing? Because I think these like feelings like anger and all the things get sort of a bad rap because people don't feel them, and then it becomes part of their
Right.
personality.
Yes.
So they walk around as angry people. Like my little sweet pup Hank loves to try to run out the door sometimes, and I grabbed him because I didn't want to be late to meet with you. And I felt myself get a little bit of like like have a boundary, like, no, bub, like, because he knows. And then I just like felt it and felt it go through me. And then I felt it release. And I thought, how funny that this happened right before you and I are going to do this, because
Yes.
it's just an example of how, sure, I can have this feeling come through me, but it's not with me anymore. And a feeling lasts for 30 to 90 seconds. It's only when we're not feeling that they get to be built up in our body as unprocessed energy. And as we're feeling things, so a trigger is really a gift because it's saying, hey, there's something down there that wants to be felt, held, and acknowledged. So in presence, we get to feel them. And as we do, our body becomes, it's not an empty container, but it sort of feels like it's more flowy, it's lighter. You just have less pain in your body. And very often people link pain with unprocessed grief or trauma, or, and I definitely know that when I work with clients and we bring presence to any part of their body, they feel better.
Hmm. Yeah, and it's also, excuse me, really important to, like say we're in the car and I am angry and several things we could allow ourselves several things to happen. You could say, "Oh gosh, I wonder if it's something I did. Is she mad at me? She's angry." We allow ourselves to go into that story to try to explain that. And then also, you could allow it to affect you to where suddenly you're angry, you're taking on my anger, even though it really doesn't, it doesn't have anything to do with you. So, there's a lot of things to be aware of. It's hard to be around someone like you said, who is just embodying their anger and they're just angry all the time about everything, and it just kind of like erupts into that. So, having our own place of presence, having that own awareness, we can, kind of like put up that boundary and say, I know this isn't about me, because a lot of times that happens. I feel like I get a lot of people that come to me and they're like, "Oh my gosh, this is happening. They're so angry at me and I don't know what I did." And the majority of the time, it's not about you. It's about what the other person is going through, and they just don't have that outlet or knowledge to be able to let it go. Or they just don't know how if they've embodied it for so long. So, yeah.
100%. And as I brought up before, how wonderful it is to always connect with you and feel like we have these same threads coming through. I came across this wonderful lady, Dr. Sue Mortar, and I think, oh, I sent you the
You
book,
did
right?
tell me, yeah.
Yeah.
You said it to me.
And, some work she did, a while back, I was like listening to it and I'm like, oh, wow, this is just like this presence technique program that I've created. How beautiful that this woman I've never met, and this is a wonderful person, is bringing forth the same information. Again, we're just tapping into the same place.
Right, right.
And one of the things she says is we're building, she calls it circuitry.
Hmm.
So when we bring the breath, we process, she uses a lot of different light work flow things, which very similar to what I do too. And what we're doing is we're building those muscles within us and flexing those muscles of, she calls it, we're using our photons to build the capacity to hold more light.
Mm,
So, like our photon density, she calls it something
wow.
like that. And they've done research where they look at people from like the dark ages or like times when we were really oppressed and like stuff was like not good in the world, and how different photographs, obviously then we didn't have photographs, but depictions, we actually look more lit up
Mm,
now as civilization.
wow.
Like we physically are emitting more light. So I thought that was really fun.
That's cool.
So, do you want to close out with anything, or do you want me to do a guided presence?
I would love for you to do a guided presence. I was just thinking for a second about let's and I think it probably will tie into this. Talk about the breath and how powerful it is, because I know a lot of people, I was definitely guilty of that until I, woke up, so to speak, and realized what I was doing. But most people don't breathe deep. They breathe very shallow, you know. And how powerful that is to take that, get that breath to move through your body. So I don't know if you have any thoughts on that.
Oh, yeah, 100%. So, there's a few different breaths that I love. I love coherence breath, which is breathing in and out and allowing the belly to rise and fall. 5.5 in, 5.5 seconds out. They've done studies where if you do that breath for, I don't know, 2 months, I think, you reset your entire nervous system.
Uh,
It's the same breath that we do when we're in the womb. And then I love this chi breathing that my teacher Robert Peng taught in Qigong healing. So it's imagining that you're a sponge. So we're going to do that one for the presence. And yeah, so go ahead and find yourself a comfy spot. If it's comfortable for you, go ahead and close your eyes. And just feeling what's present in your body, if you have a pain or a place of tightness, just bringing your awareness lightly, just sweeping around your body with your awareness. And we're going to bring one part of our awareness to our belly. So, our belly is beautiful for bringing vitality to our body, really feeling present and grounded. Most of the time, we are up in our heads, and so it's allowing our awareness to be trained to come to a different part of us because we want to be in all parts of ourselves. You can even bring your awareness down to the bottoms of your feet if you'd like. And just try it on, see what feels good. And as you're breathing, just relaxing your shoulders, allowing the belly to be soft and supple. Perhaps allowing the belly to rise and fall with the breath. And we're just going to imagine that we're all little sponges. So it's as if we have these tiny pores on our body, and as we breathe in, the breath flows in through the tiny pores. And as we release the breath, it's this beautiful wave of exchange, just like the ocean. And as the breath enters all these tiny pores, you're just feeling yourself being filled with beautiful breath, bringing energy, and perhaps envisioning that there is light flowing in with the breath. So as you're breathing, this beautiful light-filled breath flows in every part, so the front, the back, all sides. And having one part of your awareness on another part of your body as you practice, so your belly or perhaps your heart, bottoms of your feet, wherever. And perhaps you may have a feeling come up that's within you. And this is the part where we begin to look through that glass because our body has become more still. So we're looking through that glass more clearly. So we're perceiving what is inside of me. What is alive in me today? This is a beautiful practice to begin your day. And just like as we are present to allowing emotions or feelings to process and move through us, we also can bring light to the beautiful parts of peace or joy, perhaps laughter. Kathy and I had a great little giggly session before this. So whatever is alive within you, you're bringing your awareness to that. And that's building that circuitry. So that's building that muscle. And just being with whatever is within you. Being with your presence and allowing whatever it is to be there without judgment as the witness. And you can continue this practice on your own, or you can drop into this practice throughout your day and just to get a little recharge, to refresh and renew. And whenever you're ready, we're going to come back and open our eyes. It is always such a pleasure to spend time with you, Kathy, and all of our
Me
beautiful
too.
listeners. Thank you for being
Mhm.
here, and I'm going to
Thank
hand
you.
over the mic if you want to say anything to close.
I just, as those beautiful thank you for that. And as I was doing it and going through it and, just being guided by you, I had remembered that how you talk about letting the light in, and the Akashic Records have said before that that is how we can expand, is letting more light in. And if we are carrying around all of these deep, heavy emotions, and sometimes they're not even ours. Like we have just taken on carrying, emotions for our mother or our grandmother, whatever. Um, we can't let that. We don't have space. So allowing that release, letting that light come in will just really help to expand us on our way. So beautiful. Thank you so
Beautiful.
much, Beth.
Thank you. All right. Well, thank you, everyone. We'll see
Yeah,
you next
thank
time.
you. Okay.